Castaway, Harry S. Truman, and the Berlin Wall are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is December 22nd, 2022. It is the 356th day of the year. You got 9 days left. It is your 51st Thursday in your 51st week and the second day of winter. You got 88 days left until spring. If today's your birthday, you're a Capricorn. Today is Forefathers Day. Every year, the anniversary of the first pilgrims landing on the shores in North America is observed on Forefathers Day, which is December 22nd, unless it occurs on a Sunday, in which case Forefathers Day is celebrated on the 23rd. Although the forefathers landed in America on December 21st, the anniversary was accidentally marked as December 22nd when the Gregorian calendar was adopted. All right, let's see what else December 22nd has given us. 1807, the Embargo Act forbidding trade with all foreign countries is passed by the U.S. Congress at the urging of President Thomas Jefferson. 1851, the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. burns. Yeah, it caught fire. We lost a lot of good documents. 1937, the Lincoln Tunnel opens to traffic in New York City. I went through there when I was 9 years old. We drove to New York City across the United States. Anyway, my dad's from New York. And as we were going through the tunnel, we didn't know how long it was. He's all, oh, everyone hold your breath. It's a tunnel. Holding our breath. It's like 5 minutes of travel. It's like, oh, okay. 1945, U.S. President Harry S. Truman issues an executive order moving World War II refugees to the front of the line in the visa application process under the U.S. immigration quotas. 1964, the first test flight of the SR-71, known as the Blackbird, takes place at Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale, California. Very, very interesting aircraft. They don't use it anymore, but this thing was incredibly fast. 1975, U.S. President Gerald Ford creates the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in response to the 1970s energy crisis. 1989, German reunification. Berlin's Brandenburg Gate reopens after nearly 30 years, effectively ending the division between East and West Germany. As you know, during the Cold War and after World War II, Berlin was basically split in half, and actually the entire country of Germany was split in half. The Russians and the Soviet Union, they took one half, and then the United States and allies took the other half. In the beginning, the gate was open and they just had guards and it really wasn't a big deal, and they had a small fence and people actually hopped over it, and then more and more people just started flooding into the West over the weeks and months after they had split the two, and eventually they built what is known as the Berlin Wall with guard towers. You'd think there's a prison going on either side of that wall. They had barbed wire, anti-personnel mines. Some of the things that were done to get people over and under the Berlin Wall were amazing. There's some interesting stories that go along with that whole event in human history. Between 1961 and 1989, thousands of East Germans made risky border crossings. Around 5,000 of them crossed over the Berlin Wall in some very interesting ways. Originally, there were buildings right up against the Berlin Wall, and a lot of people were jumping out of the windows, so they sealed that up and made the people move, so those buildings were no longer housing people. They kind of served as another wall. For a while there were still train tracks, and there was a train that went through. Well, an East German train conductor loaded up his train with about 20 people and rammed through the gate to West Berlin. It's supposed to stop, but it went right through the thing and dropped everyone off in West Berlin. Dozens of people crossed through several tunnels that were dug over the years. There were areas where several people swam across. One person went across on tightrope. Several people did different zip line type things. A man had made communication with his brother who was still in East Berlin, and one night he landed in a park, loaded up his brother, and they took off again, flew back over, and they almost got shot down and they almost got caught while they were on the ground. 2001, Richard Reed attempts to destroy a passenger airliner by igniting explosives hidden in his shoes aboard American Airlines Flight 63. Yeah, he's still in prison. 2018 and 2019, the United States federal government shutdown. The longest shutdown in U.S. federal government history begins. Movies released on December 22nd, 2000, Castaway. I can't believe that movie is 22 years old. Great Tom Hanks movie. It starred Tom Hanks and a volleyball named Wilson. Yeah, that was the secondary character in the movie, a volleyball. But Chris North was in it, as was Helen Hunt. There really weren't a lot of people in this movie. I mean, 90% of the movie was Tom Hanks on an island by himself. Great movie, though. Born on December 22nd, 1915, Barbara Billingsley. She played Mother June Cleaver on the classic comedy series Leave It to Beaver from 1957 to 1963. She fell in love with acting in second grade and proceeded to participate in every one of her high school plays. In the 1950s, she starred in the film The Careless Years. She was married to William Mortensen from 1959 to 1981. Died on December 22nd, 2002, Joe Strummer. We just talked about him the other day when we talked about Paul Simonon on his birthday, who was the bass player for The Clash. Joe Strummer was the front man for The Clash, and he passed away of a heart attack in his kitchen after taking his dog for a walk. He first became the singer for a Welsh band called The Vultures at age 21. After The Clash, he was in a few other bands, short-lived, but he was also in Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros, which was a great band, and he wrote some really good and performed some really good music in that band. Sadly, he had just found out that The Clash was being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he died before the ceremony. The ceremony, though, was amazing. Bruce Springsteen, Elvis Costello, Dave Grohl, and Steven Van Zandt, and Tony Kanal, the bass player for No Doubt, they did London Calling at the ceremony. It was amazing. Joe Strummer died in his kitchen from a heart attack caused by an undiagnosed heart defect. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.